Hey, it's Austin James. If you're like me, trying to live your best life while living with diabetes, you can relate to worrying if you're doing a good job managing your diabetes. I use the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor to get real-time glucose readings and see the impact of every meal and activity to make better decisions. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor can help me live life with diabetes on my own terms, and it gives me more time for the things I love, like being a dad and a musician. Now this is progress. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Money decisions don't have to be either or. With Bank of America, they can be yes and. Like yes to sunny vacations and rainy day funds. Can our digital tools and guidance help you create the future you want? Yes. And help you keep enjoying today too. Do more with the bank that asks, what would you like the power to do? Explore our tips and more at bankofamerica.com/yes and.
2 tournaments so far for you, Dubai and Cape Town. So far, 9 matches, 13 tries, 65 total points. Could you have scripted a better intro into the HSBC series?
I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily yeah, you always go out there thinking, hey, I'm going to do my best, Yeah. There's so many things that, could have been fixed along the way that I can fix for the next tournament. But I think just at face value, just people from the outside looking at, I think it looked pretty good. So I'm happy with that. But I think it's more exciting knowing that this isn't all peak. This is we're coming in hot. The group we've been with only been together 3 months, right? And we can, produce second. So it just really lets you know how high our ceiling is.
Welcome to U.S. Rugby Happy Hour Live. Interviews with the biggest names in American rugby.
The New England Free Jacks, Major League Rugby champions. One-on-one to score.
Here are your hosts, Bill Baker and that other guy.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a very, very special show, Fitzy. You know why? Because you didn't even answer my question. You know why? Because we're in the middle of our best of section of the season, right? So season 4 typically actually ended 2 weeks ago. So last week we ran our first best of episode, which was with AJ McGinty, which was a great episode. And very, was it AJ or Mike Friday? No, it was Mike Friday. I just gave away who the next one is. AJ McGinty.
Bill, easy on the eggnog.
No, it was Mike Friday, which is actually timely. He's the former USA Men's Sevens coach, and most of you know that we have Nia Toliver coming on, who's I wouldn't say new to the USA program, but new to the HSBC series. So we're going to talk to her in a few minutes. Yeah. I'm excited about it, and the reason why, like Fitz, I'm saying, is this is usually a best of. We're getting ready for season 5 coming out next month, and the Open just reminded me we need to update the Open for season 5. Yeah. But we're cutting into our best of to do this interview because I think it's we need to, all right?
Yes, yeah.
As popular as the USA women's side is right now, or women's sports is growing in this country everywhere else, especially rugby. I think it's a very important show to do, and to do live and to do. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, just for season 5 coming up next month, we've got some great topics we've already been lining up. We already have guests lined up for shows beginning sometime in January. We haven't picked a date yet, but we'll do that. Lots to talk about. Lots going on next year in Major League Rugby, USA Sevens, men's 15s, all that stuff. Women's, PWR, the PR Sevens,
Women's Elite Rugby,
Women's Elite Rugby,
Rugby World Cup qualification 2027,
college rugby.
2025. I mean, yeah.
I think we should do. Youth
we could
rugby
do an
too.
entire episode of just highlights of my college career if you want to. It might be a short episode, but we could, if you.
No. So, anything you need to share with our listeners right now, Fitzy? I mean, I'm ready to go, but if you need to share anything,
let's go.
We're good to go.
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
Am I supposed to? Why am I? Did I miss my mark? Am I supposed to be sharing something?
No, I thought you were giving away $1 million for the holidays to one of our lucky listeners, but
yeah, I owe you.
No,
yeah, that's a keeper.
All right, $1 million in Monopoly money. Even that's expensive. So usually the last couple of live episodes, Fitzy, as you know, we have produced, or not us, our jingle writing team has produced an intro song for our guest. However, since it is the holidays and typically, honestly, we are off, they're off also. They're off doing whatever else. So we didn't get a chance to do an original jingle song for today's guest. Hope she's not mad. We will make it up. So they've been going well. People have enjoyed the jingles, and we will be setting up a Spotify playlist this next season, season 5, with our jingles, and possibly releasing them all on, an 8 CD pack for $18.99.99.
They don't make CDs
for easy
anymore,
payments.
though. They do vinyl now. That's the big thing.
Vinyl's back.
Back in your heyday. Back in your heyday.
8 tracks. No, that's not my heyday. I'm not that old. All right, let's do it. Our guest is waiting for us. We have with us today a rising and American Rugby Sevens star. I mean, hit the scene running, literally. Let's all welcome Nia Toliver. Hey, Nia, how are you?
Good to yourself?
We're great. We're so excited to have you here. And I know we briefly spoke before we went on the air here, but I hope you're getting some downtime. It's the holidays. I mean, you had a heck of a last few weeks here. I mean, please tell me you're getting some downtime.
Yeah. So we had like a week of no training, basically, which included travel. So we had like maybe about 5 good days of rest, but now we're remote training. So, which I understand because like Perth is around the corner, so we can't afford to take that much time off.
Yeah. So what does time off look like? Because I gotta imagine, as you mentioned, you can't, because Perth is right around the corner. Do you have to maintain some like baseline fitness? Like Bill and I can have an extra cup of eggnog, but I can't imagine that is necessarily in the cards. So what does time off look like?
Yeah. So we have remote training, which is basically conditioning and a gym, and we have that 4 days a week. Yeah, but we're not showing up to the center every day, so that's why it's time off. Yeah.
Is that where you are? Are you based out there?
Yeah. I live in Chula Vista. That's where we train in San Diego. Yeah. Oh,
right. Mm-hmm. So Fitzy, we write down a few notes for these shows, and we have some jeez, I can't say the word. Cosmology information to talk about here for a second. So we had Alona Mara was on our show a year ago, whatever. She's the biggest rugby star right now, and now just 2 stops into the HSBC series this year, you are the brightest and newest star. So there you go. There's our star reference. The planets are aligning right now for us, hopefully for you, on the USA 7 squad. So we had to get that out of the way. It was very important for us to mention that. So Nia, how are your Instagram numbers since you started? No, I'm just kidding. Let's not go there.
No, but seriously, are they going up?
Are they going up?
I'm getting a couple here and there. Yeah. So yeah.
So let's step back a bit, Nia. We'll get into HSBC in a second here, but let's talk about Sevens, USA Sevens specifically right now. You've been playing rugby since you were, I believe, high school. I think it was. Some bumps along the way. How does it feel to finally get to this level?
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, I guess it's more or less. I want to say what I expected, but it's very different, right? Like I was here a couple years ago, during COVID, and the series. We only played against a handful of teams. New Zealand didn't compete at all. So the teams and then the stands, like actually playing in front of a crowd, that really does add a bit extra pressure. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the girls, really. I think playing with this group of girls versus the girls I was with before, they're younger, they're really fun. So I'm enjoying myself right now.
Well, speaking to the girls, I mean, you're not the only player in the squad who hasn't debuted in HSBC. There's 6, including yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But also a number of veterans haven't joined the team yet, including Christy Kirsch, Spiff, Sammy Sullivan. Was this a seize a day kind of moment for you? You know, with all the veterans, if all the veterans were present, maybe you wouldn't have had the chance to get all the minutes you played in these first 2 stops. Am I asking that right? You know, was it kind of your chance to go?
I mean, I don't know. You have to ask Emily. Like she kind of knows. I don't
Yeah.
know if she would played me less or more, to be honest. What? Because I don't know. I think Spiff is also a center. So and the other center that was on tour was Jess. You know, she's been around as well. So I'm not really sure how I would have went. You know, but yeah, that's possibly. You know, I probably would have played less. I'm not really sure though.
Yeah, I mean, you've certainly seized the moment for sure, as we talked about in the first 2 stops, Dubai and Cape Town. We'll get to all that in a moment. You've been chatting with Emily. I mean, for what 2019, 2020 was that when you kind of first came on to the radar for Emily? I guess talk us through a little bit the message that she had with you about coming onto the squad full time, your role, and what your future looks like, I guess.
So I met Emily like back in 2012. So I've known her for almost my whole rugby career, to be honest. But coming into the team specifically, because Emily is very process oriented. So yeah, she made it clear that it was about buying in and adding to the team dynamic and the team culture. Because my personality is like really big, and yeah, she's known me as a kid as well, so she knows that about me. So she was like, "Hey, we need you to bring not only energy like on the field, but like off the field as well. And it must be positive, it must like be like growth focused, right? So yeah, she made that pretty clear. Like as long as I'm gonna work hard, right, and buy in, then yeah, all systems go, basically.
Yeah. That's great. We've had a number of conversations, and I think with the women on the team, and I think what I have found that is most resonated with me is just how much of cohesion there is with the group, even if there's been like some changes, just like the camaraderie or the built-in, right? When you're battling out year over year. I guess when you first came onto the scene, if you will, were there any like teammates that maybe kind of like took you under the wing or mentored you in a way?
Yeah, back in 2020, I'd say definitely more so than now, because even though I am like a debutante or whatever, I have been in the program a little bit, so I was kind of, I didn't. So we have this thing called like Big Sister or whatever, or you have like, I didn't have one of those when I came in, this time, but back in 2020, I think Nicole Haviland was captain, and she was really welcoming. Also players like Nia and Chetta, like Jazz Gray, even like people who are just kind of you can lean on. And like me, Naya, and Jazz, we all kind of played the same position, and we had a really like healthy competition. Like we would talk mess, but it would be like it's good though. It's like it's laughs, like we're all like going for it. So and I thrive in that kind of environment. It wasn't hostile. It wasn't like a hostile competition. Like it was like, oh, like I'm upset with you because like you're better than me, or vice versa, or you can't take my spot kind of thing. It was very much like, hey, you got to go like full send. So keep doing that. So and that team was also like older, so a lot of them kind of had that mentor ish vibe. I guess like they're always willing to teach you something. No one ever like I guess shied away from telling you what they think or what you need to hear. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the 2024-25 HSBC 7 series. 2 tournaments so far for you, Dubai and Cape Town. So far, 9 matches, 13 tries, 65 total points. I can't wait to see what you do in Perth. But seriously, could you have scripted a better intro into the HSBC series?
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't necessarily like. Yeah, you always go out there thinking, "Hey, I'm gonna do my best."
Yeah.
There's so many things that could have been fixed along the way that I can fix for the next tournament. But I think just at face value, just people like from the outside looking in, I think it looked pretty good. So I'm happy with that. But I think it's more exciting knowing that this isn't like all peak. You know, this like we're coming in hot. The group we've been with only been together 3 months, right? And we can, produce second. So it just really lets you know like how high our ceiling is. So yeah, really exciting.
Let's well talk about studying. Let's talk about Cape Town real quick. Come on, it had to feel like deja vu for some of the women on the team to beat Australia at the death. This time with you scoring the game winning try. Did anyone mention like a feeling, a vibe of deja vu after beating Australia like that again?
No one mentioned it explicitly. What you had, like Sarah was there, Ari was there. I think those were Kayla was there, and Elena, but no one was really like sitting and reminiscing about it.
Yeah,
but we was all proud. I think we're all just stuck in the present moment, to be honest.
Yeah.
Wait. So I think people are downplaying your winning try a little bit here, and I say that because it wasn't just that try. We had down 19-7. You scored a superb try, and then you earned a turnover that set up Alyssa's try. With 2 points behind now. I watched this a few times, and then you earned a penalty, which helped set up the attack, which led you defending off a few players, including Levi Maddison scoring the match-winning try. I mean, come on, that's a pretty impressive second half for the team, and including you. I mean, are you thinking at all? I mean, of course you're thinking at there, but I mean, when you're doing this, you had to been, your adrenaline must have been so high and so excited after scoring that first try, setting up, earning that penalty, and then scoring the winning try. I mean, can you just talk about that second half at all?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even though we were down, like you said, it didn't feel like we were down, to be honest. It wasn't like, oh no, we're a couple of points behind. It was like, yeah, what's next? Like we do a lot of mind gym, I think kind of an obsessive amount, to be honest. So I'm always thinking, like literally, what am I doing right now? Connection. Okay, am I in line with my teammates? Okay, I got to catch the ball. Okay, yeah, it's very process based. So I'm kind of sitting there thinking about what I need to do in the moment constantly, if that makes sense. So it's always just, catch, run. How is this line going to bring this defender in? So it's nice. I mean, if you saw after I did score that last try, I was definitely like, I kind of started to celebrate before I scored.
Yeah.
After I realized that I was free. So yeah, it was just nice to see, like, I guess our sports psych always tells us that attention is the currency of. I can't think of the exact words he used, but attention is currency, basically. So it was like I wasn't thinking about winning the game. I was thinking about what I had to do next, and try to do my next moves like right all the time, or to the best of my ability. So I think we all were on the same page about that. And then when it came together, it was like magic. So yeah.
Well, Nia, earlier you mentioned, right, like this group has been together for what, maybe less than 3 months or say, right? So, young squad, right? Like maybe 8 of the 13. I don't know if I have that number correctly. With less than a tournament appearance. Very few tournament appearances so far on the HSBC series. I mean, from the outside, I guess from our point of view, and we talked with Emily about this, right after the Olympics, she was like, hey, there's gonna be some growing pains. We're gonna have some turnover and stuff. But fourth right now in the series, some big wins, some big moments, as we just talked about. I guess from your point of view, or from the group's point of view, are you guys surprised by the team's performance after 2 rounds, or is this more of what we should expect?
Okay.
I know.
Okay,
Go ahead.
So I feel like we were all on different pages about this. I didn't know that people didn't believe in us, to be honest, because after we got second,
no. I hope that didn't come across that way.
No, not from you, but just like in our team, a lot of the girls were just like so surprised, especially because our team dynamic is so different now with these current girls versus the older girls. Like people like Kirsch, Alev, Lauren Doyle, like Chetta and Nia. They're very serious, like bunch of girls, and we're kind of like laughing in the locker rooms, like just kind of like having a good time. So I think the vibe was very different, and I guess they didn't expect us to perform as well, just because we have, I don't want to say a more relaxed, yeah, which I guess maybe we're just a little more relaxed, and a couple of the girls weren't too happy about our performance against Canada at PR Sevens either, and they were kind of like, well, if we're playing like this against Canada, then we're probably not going to do well on the circuit. And I'm kind of like, well, like, it's our first game together. It's not everything's gonna be perfect like off the rip, but have a little faith. I mean, I'm not going to say that I knew for a fact we were going to like do so well. I mean, I was like a little bit surprised too, but it wasn't like I expected to be like eighth or anything. Like I thought we'd at least be like somewhere in the high middle, which is kind of where like Dubai I kind of expected to be like around that. So Cape Town was like really, yeah, perfect too. But I do think our connection off the field played a big role in the way we were able to play on field, to be honest, as well, because we did have this kind of comfort, like, and trust with each other. And I also think another good thing about our team is just we all have like super strengths. Like I think I'm a very attacking player, but we have some like powerful defenders with speed as well. So I think it just kind of balanced out on the field. And then we have our veterans that are just kind of like good all around. So I think it came together, yeah, really well. I wasn't,
Yeah.
So, I guess a new 4-year cycle, right? And I guess you talked a little bit about some of the maybe more relaxed or just a good mix of playing styles. But I guess what kind of identity is the team maybe trying to establish in this next year, carrying forward the next few years going into LA?
The first thing that comes to my mind is adaptability. I think, like when Emily had mentioned, like we're gonna have like growing pains, right? Like turnover, like different players coming in. But I think that we've proven that we're able to adapt to the changing of players. Like, it might be a different squad in Perth as well. Like, who I think Kerr should be available again. Maybe, not sure. But so I think, and teams are going to adapt to us now. Now there's like a target on us, getting second. I'm like, okay, now we got to focus on this team. But again, we're just at the beginning. Like we're going to grow so much. So I think we're going to continue to grow. I think there's going to be a big. This isn't it, right? There's no. So we have that going for us, and I think seeing. I want to say like how we all develop into the players that Emily kind of sees us being, right? Because I think Emily again is very processed, very planned. She can kind of, she says it's interesting what she thinks about potential. Like she says it doesn't exist, but she knows that she kind of has a vision for every player. So I think when everyone kind of starts to like reach their potential of what she thinks that they can do, is going to be, again, another team, same players but different teams. You know what I'm saying? So it's really exciting.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by AWS. Amazon Q Business is the new generative AI assistant from AWS. Many tasks can make business slow, like wading through mud. Help! Luckily, there's a faster, easier, less messy choice. Amazon Q can securely understand your business data to help you streamline tasks, like summarizing quarterly results or doing complex analyses in no time. Q got this. Learn what Amazon Q Business can do for you at aws.com/learn more.
And back to the show. Nia, you mentioned Nia Tapper earlier. Tapper, Australia's Levi, and say Perry Baker, those three have something in common. They're tall, long legs, fast. Mm-hmm. You have a different body type. You're fast also and powerful. Thank you for laughing. I didn't mean that in a bad way at all. And I asked that question because I want to know, where do you get your speed from? Where do you get that extra gear to break away from opponents? Because, they have those long strides. Where do you get that? It's something you worked on for years, I'm assuming, your speed.
I've never met him, but my grandpa was an NFL player. He was a contracted NFL player, but he died right before he could start his contract. So I'm assuming he was a really good athlete. My dad didn't get it from him. Okay, he kind of peaked in high school, to be honest. My mom wasn't an athlete either, so I'm assuming I get my athletic prowess from my grandpa, to be honest. And I do speed work, but I wouldn't say I do anything, out of the ordinary, to be honest.
extra squats or something. I don't know if that helps for speed. I'm not. It takes me about 3 minutes to get to 100 yards. So, so Nia, so I don't know if you want to call it stardom right now, but you're definitely turning heads. You're definitely someone to watch. I just put a note up there from a watch or a viewer right now saying that you're the one to watch right now. You're selling tickets. There's a paper in Australia, or Australia's sports media called The Roar. They wrote, the headline was, Rugby Sevens superstar Maddison Levi has met her match. Her name is Nia Toliver. And that was the headline to their article. Are you hearing this stuff? Are you paying attention to it? And if so, how are you handling it?
That's really interesting. Interesting question. Yeah, I did see that article. I'm learning now not to read comments. Because honestly, oh my God, people are gonna say any and everything. I think the role I play right now on the team and what I hope to grow into more is kind of a role I played over the course of my rugby career, like even like from a young age. Playing in high school, I was kind of like a pillar player for my team to lean on. And we made documentaries in high school, and that came with a lot of feedback as well. So, and then also when I played in Japan, kind of a pillar player for my team, and that came with a whole lot of this and that. Obviously it's bigger here, it's a bigger stage, but I think the stuff that I've gone through over the course of my career has kind of prepared me for this in a sense. So again, not reading the comments, and like that headline, me and Maddison Levi are two different players, right? We're both fast, which is probably why they're like, oh yeah, let's put this. But I mean, come on, this she scored 15 tries and Dubai, you know what I mean? So she's in a league of her own. But I do appreciate people like shouting me out and like giving me that kind of love and like belief. So I'm taking the good away from it and like kind of like propping myself up a bit, but not letting it get to my head like, oh yeah, I'm like you know what I mean. So
Well, Neil, let Bill and I toot your horn for you, so you can focus on continuing to play great. So, speaking of that, let us gaze ahead a little bit. Let's go into the future. LA Olympics in 2028. We're all very much excited about that. That's still nearly 3 years away or so. Obviously, a lot can happen between now and then. Again, we mentioned we chatted with Emily, and again, she cautioned about the growing pains and things like that, and turnovers, and a new 4-year cycle. But I guess, coming off that, we'll get to the bronze medal match here in a second, because we'd love to get your take on all that happened. But what has been like the overarching message from Emily? It's like, okay, great, we won a bronze, but we're not done yet, right? So I guess talk us through like what's been the message now, like brand new 4-year cycle. What has Emily been kind of like telling the squad?
So she broke it up into 4 years, right? So this is year one, foundational period, right? Where you read this book called Chop Wood, Carry Water. It's basically like Karate Kid, but like written slightly differently. So that's kind of like we're building right now. We're doing our basics like pass and catch, like tackle tech. So we're like hammering like how to hit a seam, how to move a defender. We're like really hammering in like the basics that we all need to know. And then so she has a 4-year plan that she shows us almost every meeting. Again, Emily is very, very much a process-oriented person. And even after PR7s, as soon as anything happens, Emma's ready to go and work. Okay, after PR7s, I'm just so excited to get back to chop wood and carry water. After Dubai, I can't wait to, not to get back, but to do our little 3 days of training, and get better. It's all about that 1% with her as well. Like she's very, we don't have, she'll say we don't have that much time, but enough time for 1%. So, very detail oriented in that sense. And then after Cape Town, I can't wait to get back to train. So I think she takes it in stride. It's like, she'll appreciate the moment, appreciate like how far we've come, but it's like now next step. Okay. Next, let's get back to our passing. Let's keep working on our tech. Because again, this is foundational. So she just very much her message is stick to the process. The process doesn't stop. Even if we would have, let's say we did beat New Zealand, we're going back to chop wood and carry water. It's a never-ending mountain that we're climbing, So learning to enjoy the process is a big part of this as well.
So related to that question, then, as part of the chop wood carry water, which I love that. Yeah, we just we got second here. Great, chop wood carry water. Let's move on. Has Emily mentioned to you, or what can you share with us about what Emily is saying about you're playing great, but here's what you need to work on. Can you share with us things that you feel like could be improved?
I mean, definitely. I think as a player, defensively, I don't think I shined a whole lot this tournament. Wasn't as threatening without the ball in hand. So again, she didn't really harp on me about anything in particular because only was two tournaments. But even just from my own standpoint, I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to kind of be scary with or without the ball in hand. And then other thing, it's not so much to work on, but it's consistency. Like she really wants me to keep doing what I've done so far again and again. And that's kind of what we've been speaking about. It's like, yeah, you've done it, but now it's time to keep doing it as well as adding to what you can do. So,
just thinking off the top of my head here, so you two tournaments for you, two different formats for those two tournaments. What's your take on those two? I mean, again, just two for you so far. Much different between the two?
Definitely. I personally appreciated the 2-2. Okay, I kind of wanted that because it's a little bit interesting, right? In Dubai, like you can win the first. Look, all respect to all the teams, right? In our pool, we had Spain, GB, and France, and we beat GB, we beat Spain, we lost to France. France lost both their games to GB and Spain.
And
they got
third,
so they beat us. They got third. So it's just like because they give like I don't know how it works, but apparently you get a bonus point for not losing by such a margin. To me, that was just a little bit too much. So I kind of appreciated the kind of one and done. Like you're either in it or you're not. So I like that. And it was
the players. Did they ask for the player input on that getting rid of the quarterfinal thing?
Actually, I think it was news to everyone. To be honest, I heard a couple of our staff talking about it, and I think our trainer he kind of said that back-to-back tournaments is really taxing on the body because also the travel was very long as well, so the players aren't recovering, so it put them through that twice. I think he was like it's like more dangerous, but I'm not entirely sure. But I enjoyed the 2-2. I wouldn't mind if they were all 2-2.
I could take a different format, the 24 Olympics in Paris. Exciting as could be watching that match. Give us your emotions with that. Were you watching it live?
Yeah.
What were your feelings, 8 seconds? Yeah.
Heart pounding.
Yeah.
It was. I'm kind of like biting your nails. Like I'm watching with my mom and my brothers. But oh man, when Spiff scored that try, it was like unbelievable. And it was just a testament again, I guess, to their hard work. The dedication to the process and knowing some of those girls as well, and like I chat with them periodically, and they kind of tell me how much it's changed since Brownie was the coach. So and then the girls that were in Tokyo, right, as well, being able to be there for that win and kind of like I don't want to say not revenge, but it's like yes, like no, I stuck with it, and like this is my reward. So that was really awesome, very very much deserved.
Yeah, have you heard the story about Tess was telling Emily after that that Spiff missed all her warm-up kicks before the match, but he didn't tell her till after the game. Thank God.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about that.
She was very happy. She didn't know that going into that. Okay, so post-Olympics, from your point of view, Nia, have you felt like there's been an increase in awareness or attention for the USA Women's Sevens program or women's rugby in general, especially here in this country?
Oh, definitely. And that's not, them winning a bronze medal is really big, but definitely, Alona played such a huge role on us winning on them winning a bronze medal being huge as well, right? Because she brought in so much attention, even like in Tokyo, she did. So having her followers and new followers come in, definitely much more people are looking at women's rugby, and they have the belief in women's rugby in the States. You know, Australia, New Zealand, maybe even France. They already kind of have that, the eyes on them. But for us to get some organic, homegrown eyes is like huge. So.
Well, Nia, certainly one of the benefits, at least it seemed like most immediately, was that that donation from Michelle Kang, $4 million to the USA Women's Sevens program. Has your group started seeing that benefit already?
I don't really. I don't think we really get the
Are they
money
paying you more
until
money,
a
Nia? Are they paying you more money?
There's no big check, no big check in your room there.
a big turnover. They did increase the caps of the salaries by a bit.
Good.
But we don't really get to see everything until next year. You know what I mean? So they need to. We're not really sure how the money's going to be allocated. I know a little bit went to. I don't say a little bit. Some went to, I think, increasing our salary caps. But we don't know how the rest is going to be distributed. To be honest, yeah.
Nia, before you go here in a second, I was reading about you. You spent some time in Japan. We talk about that. And that was a few years back, of course. Talk about why that decision to play in Japan. I mean, you were pretty young, or actually, you were young when you played somewhere else, Christchurch, I believe it was, if I read that correctly, for a while. I mean, you must have had great support behind you with your family to allow you to go off that far. But then talk about that experience in Japan.
One thing led to another, actually. Like the Christchurch experience took place when I was in high school, and I was over there for I think 6 months. I was at an international rugby program. The program coordinator is actually who got me into Japan my first time around. It was with his old team. And it was like I had torn my ACL back in 2016. So after I healed, I was able to go the beginning of 2018. Yeah. So after I went in 2018, and I was in Hokkaido for 2 years. Came back, right? And I was in the U.S. team 2020, 2021, and then left again in 2022 because, well, the contracts were bigger. Like after, this setup was a little bit more well-rounded than what USA could offer. So I went ahead and I took a contract over there, and they increased it again the next year. So okay, I'll stay another year. And I was like, actually, I'm not feeling the most fulfilled here, so let me go back and try again on the U.S. team. Yeah. So a bit of back and forth.
But culturally, it must have been a great trip. You know, I think everyone should leave this country at some point and learn other cultures. So, I mean, off the pitch, Nia, was it a culture shock for you?
I wouldn't say it was a culture shock, but I do appreciate the stark differences between America and Japan. I mean, food, safety, cleanliness, and again, I think the concentration of their culture, right? Because Japan is very Japanese, and it's really cool to see. What I appreciated, but they have shrines kind of set up almost everywhere. It's like on the corner. You can be like walking to the train station. You'll see a little shrine. You can like give money to. That's pretty cool. Yeah. The affordability as well. I know that the Japanese don't like that, but for someone living in America, going to Japan, your dollar a stretch. So like you get your own like sauna for an hour for like $20, and it's like a really nice personal sauna. Just little things like that. Super clean, super taken care of. I think also the mannerisms of the Japanese, they're a bit reserved, which is another stark contrast to myself. I'm quite loud and in your face. So while I was over there, I kind of learned to tone it down a little bit. Yeah, but I definitely appreciate that experience. It gave me a different outlook on not only culturally, like American culture and Japanese culture, but I guess also like personally what I wanted in my life. You know, like what's really important to me. So yeah, I wouldn't do anything different.
All right, Nia, 2 more questions for you. The first one's the deep one for you to think about. What are your goals in rugby, generally speaking, with the USA team and for you personally?
Um, one of my goals, just generally, I guess overall, is to be, one of the best, one of the greatest of all times to come through the
Let's
circuit
go.
and like
Yes.
really like leave a mark. Like, hey, it might have took me a while to like get here and stay, but I'm here, and you're gonna remember, me when I'm gone. Um, I'm not really one to like think about inspiring the next generation.
You are.
It's not, you're not gonna really hear me say that, like, oh yeah, I'm doing it for the girls after me. But yeah. But I guess, I guess I am in a sense too, because I just visited my school a couple of weeks ago, and just seeing how much my high school rugby program has grown, and the talent there, not just rugby players, but like the arts program, like they have golfing and boating, but seeing how important it is for people to have opportunities, and maybe have, like, me being where I am will show them like how far they can take whatever they do. So I do want those kids to feel empowered, like, hey, Nia, 2016 graduate, she did a big time in her sport, whatever sport they choose, that they can do it as big as they want to. So that's also another goal.
All right, here it is. The biggest question of the day. Who did you room with in these first two stops? And what can you tell us about them that's annoying? And what do they do? Do they clip their fingernails on the bed? What do they do?
Yeah, we need some dirt here.
I hope nobody watches this.
Oh, it's millions. Millions.
This is broadcast worldwide, global.
My roommate was Autumn Cicero. She's number 20. And I picked her. Okay, so I picked her as a roommate. I'm like, yeah, like this would be good for me to have someone that's, because she's kind of a involved player, right? Very much on time and involved in your business.
Your business.
Oh my God, I love you. What I appreciate about her again is how prepared she is. Okay, she has snacks for probably the whole team for the whole 2 weeks, to be honest.
Oh.
Yeah, she's really helpful as well. Sometimes a little bit too helpful. Again, I have nothing but love. So yeah, sometimes when she's too helpful, and I'll get a little irritated because I'm like, I didn't explicitly ask you for help this time, so I don't like need it. But other than that, she's like super lovely. So yeah, I enjoy her.
She's a den mom. So we'll have her on next week to talk. No, I was kidding. A rebuttal. Nia Toliver, this has been so much fun. It's been fantastic. It's so nice to virtually meet you. I cannot wait to see you, in Perth and beyond, and hopefully on home soil one day soon.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. When Claude told me you guys wanted to have me on here, I was really excited to be able to chat with you guys and kind of share with you guys and everyone else watching, just what's going on.
Well, we're cheering for you. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
All right, cheers.
Thanks,
all right, cheers.
Cut him off again. Every time I do it, I cut him.
Yeah, every time. Bill. You're just like, all right, you're off.
I'm just gonna leave him on until until we're done. Jeez. That was so much fun. She's great.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I've heard that about her also, that she's just not crazy, but just likes to laugh and plays hard. So it's great to see it like this, and with us too, losers. So that's great.
Well, I mean, that comment aside, what I really appreciated at the end when you asked her like goals, and she was like, "I want to be one of the best."
Yeah,
like that's inspiring stuff, because like I love when I dig it when athletes they need to be humble and they're like one thing at a time. But when someone's like, "Yo, I want to be the best. I want people to remember me. Like, I want to follow that person because I want to see where they go."
Yeah, so, nothing wrong with that. And honestly, I love that attitude from any rugby player, especially an American rugby player. That's kind of the mindset of American sports also. And it's great to see, and it comes in a humble way also. I don't think it's I'm the best now by any means. She even said that she's just being careful. I'm playing hard, whatever else, and it's 2 tournaments in. We'll see where it goes. So it's exciting, and I'm glad that she's getting noticed on social media at least, and I'm glad she stopped reading the comments.
Yeah, man. It's a cesspool in the comments, man. Stuff. Gosh.
Yeah. All right, Fitz, let's call it a night. It's late, at least for me. I know you're on the West Coast, so you still have things to do tonight. Have a great holiday, listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great holiday season. Stay tuned for some best of episodes still coming out, and new ones coming out actually this weekend. And if you can, give us a follow here on the live feeds or on the podcast, your favorite podcast player, which comes out on Thursdays, which will be tomorrow at 6 night. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.